Letters don't matter. You know who's good. You know, S does not go above A, alphabetically speaking. I never liked that. Do I put ZSS in this tier list or do I make people really upset? I mean, they're going to be upset regardless whether or not I put her in this tier list. I barely ordered the low tier, like the mid characters. They're all irrelevant, so you don't even need to order them technically. I'll try to do it, but it's whatever. I know the letters in the alphabet, especially in order. Ganondorf, you're the worst character in the game. Woo! Little Mac closely followed second. Zelda. Get over here. And then Jigglypuff. Character's trash fam. And then the last character, actually, I could probably stop ET right there. There's really not much to talk about with these characters. They're just trash. There's nothing redeemable about these characters. There's really no depth to go into here. Ganon is just extremely bad. Every character does it like pretty well against him. He has no like, as far as I'm concerned, a person who doesn't even play him, he doesn't even have like good matchups. He probably beats like one or two characters, but it's not enough to even matter. Little Mac, he's better. He just has like a better neutral. He does better against like obscure characters as opposed to Ganon. Zelda, character's just trash. Way too slow. Even if she has like really good damage output, and she has good startup, which you usually want in a low tier, as opposed to good end lag. You want good startup. The damage output doesn't really match with the rest of the character because everything else is like, all the gimmicks are slow and predictable. There's no real traps with the character. If you're decent, you just get around all of it. And she's mad slow. Being slow in this meta is terrible. Also, having safe shield pressure is extremely important too. So a lot of the characters that are going to be E and mid, there's just not good shield pressure. A lot of the similar stuff with Jigglypuff. She has a little bit more better shield pressure, but the character's just not that good. Being super floaty results in getting juggled really heavily by characters that like don't even have disjoints. If you just have the speed, if you have the frame data, you can juggle her. Neutral's mad hard because she's pretty stubby. Her biggest option is like side B in neutral, but Doc is over here. I think he's the best worst character simply because of down B. That move cheats, and he's got back air, which is like good, it's just good. That's it. It's not broken by any means, but he suffers very similar stuff to the other low tiers. He just gets bullied. Mad slow. Recovery's kind of trash, but the down B helps with his recovery. The down B helps rob people. You know what I mean? So there you go. Best worst character. He's not good. All right, next, King DeDeDe. There he is. He's just heavy with a disjoint, which is nice. He still suffers from all the heavy stuff. He's mad slow. His power doesn't matter. All of his gimmicks are just that. They're just gimmicks. They only matter for like taking stocks, which is like the hardest part. His projectile can literally just be used against him, where most projectile characters can like throw their projectiles at any distance and be relatively safe. He just gets straight up punished for throwing his projectile. His recovery is pretty exploitable and pretty baitable too, even though it has like armor on the way up. You can still get damage, you know what I mean? And being off stage versus DeDeDe kind of sucks depending on the character. Doesn't really matter though, just because he's so bad. It's frame dated booty butt cheeks. And my first uneducated opinion would be Isabelle. Just because I don't know much about her. I just know she's bad. Her frame data sucks. She's mad. She's, once again, slow. The slow characters are typically bad. The only fast character that's bad is Little Mac, but that's obvious reasons. I mean, yeah, that's it. Her only like worthwhile gimmick is like fishing rod and down B, but all of that is like super obvious. Has end lag. You know what I mean? I'm not super knowledgeable on the character, but I do know she's frickin' buns, dude. A sad truth for me personally. It makes me very upset to admit this, but Lucario is also giga trash. He's so bad, dude. He's a character. It's so ass backwards what they did with him, because he's a character when he doesn't have aura, but then you have to fish for kills when you have aura. But like, even then, he just does, like, I can't even tell you what is, like, incredibly bad about him, but, like, just Aura Sphere changes with, like, not being able to jump cancel it and stuff kind of sucks. They kind of pseudo nerfed Aura. Like, I feel like the design they were going for with Lucario was like they nerfed Aura so that they could make the base character better, but they just made him worse overall by doing that. They didn't really design him around his gimmick, so they just got a mid character for that. This character is one who recently got buffed, and one that I can't find even though I just hovered over him. King K. Rool. A lot of people think that he's actually better than this for some reason, which I just straight up don't understand. I think he sucks. His gimmick is mashing Nair out of hit stun, his stupid belly armor, and anyone who knows how to parry can juggle this dude for free. He has no get out of jail free cards. His neutral is whack. He just, like, throws out options, and if anyone is decent at whiff punishing, then he gets put in his place. But K. Rool's gimmicks are not that good. His projectiles are not that good. Characters that can deal with his recovery, just put him in his place, you know? But even with, like, the changes and stuff, he's still just super buns. This one will probably get changed if we're gonna be honest. But I have never sweat versus this character in my whole life, dude. I don't care about this character. I've never felt threatened going against it. Bayonetta. For obvious reasons, the character by itself barely functions. But the reason she's mid is because when she does function, she's still, like, pretty threatening. The damage output is really good if you know how to do the combos. The potential for 0 deaths are, like, basically like a 10% chance of ever happening, you know what I mean? It's so, like, iffy. She doesn't really have trouble killing, which is a common misconception with her. Her throws help with that. Her back air kills relatively early, and if you're good at going off stage, you can net yourself some stocks as well. Bayonetta has, like, the factor, like, the unique factor of being able to go off stage versus most characters, which most people actually don't have, even in the top tiers, but she's capable of covering most recovery routes. But she's mid because she's just barely functions and her frame data is pretty poopy. And her mix is eh. Next. I talk about this all the time. Even with the recent buffs, I still don't think he's good. Marth, he's literally just trash Lucina. He's like, he just does less damage. You can't even tell me tippers are better. They're just not. They're RNG with the way the game functions and how every character's, like, faster. Spacing isn't real. Most of the time you're not spacing. His recovery is pretty hard to exploit, but, like, he's still just bad. He's just way worse Lucina. You get more neutral interactions to beat him up. He's just a sad character overall. Next I had Ice Climbers. Honestly, that's probably a good bet. I think I was right with that one. The characters can be pretty explosive at times, but that's, first of all, assuming you won neutral in a clean enough way that your Nana is, like, still with you. Because there's so many situations where Nana gets, like, slapped away, even though you won the neutral exchange, so, like, it kind of sucks. You think, no, Ice Climbers is not low high tier, dude. One grab and this character gets put in their place. And, like, side B is obviously broken, but, like, if that's your only, like, good neutral tool is Squall, any character with a projectile is gonna put you down. And most good characters have a projectile of sorts, or, like, a good out of shield option to ignore pressure. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna admit characters that I don't know too much about. So this is definitely one of them. This is probably one that I know the least about, because I don't think I've ever been in the same match as them. Maybe 3 or 4 times in my life ever. Is Meta Knight. I honestly don't know a lot about this character. This is a pretty uneducated opinion, but mostly guessing because no one plays this character is he's not good. He's not that good. Like, his combos are just eh. They're pretty situational on getting them, from what I can tell. His disjoint is practically irrelevant. If he's close enough to hit you, he's probably gonna trade, just because of, like, the way people naturally place hitboxes and stuff. That's just how I feel about Meta Knight. They're all bad, you know what I mean? This is why the low tiers are barely ordered, is because at the end of the day, they're still all bad. I'm not gonna nitpick to say who's less bad. I just don't care. The irrelevant characters are gonna stay irrelevant. Speaking of Villager, character's super predictable with all of his moves. Like, the best thing this dude can do is run away, and it's hard to deal with, but once you get in, if you have a good advantage state, you can put the character in his place. He's super simple, but he does the camping part really well, and he has the ability to gimp. Other than that, like, same story with K. Rool. Like, if you know how to parry, the character is just like put right back down. Next is your favorite character, Incineroar. So you honestly, most of you are probably thinking Incineroar is a little high, but if you put his frame data and hitbox sizes on paper, this character is absolutely ridiculous. Comboed with his damage output, his kill ability, he's still pretty dumb. But the only thing that holds him back is his recovery, which honestly the character doesn't get gimped at low percents as often as people think. So he still gets to play out a decent amount of his stock, whereas other characters with similar aspects like Ganon, where he's kind of got high power, he's still gimpable at any percent, whereas Incineroar, it's harder to gimp him earlier. You can still gimp him. Most of the characters in the game still have the ability to gimp him, but if you're just like decent, then you can get the most out of your stocks. Obviously, his other downside is his movement speed. That's what makes him not good. If he was a little bit faster, this character would be stupid. This character is one or two bad buffs away from becoming ridiculous. Another character that we recently talked about is this gimmick. Literally, like, his recovery is pretty hard to hit for most characters unless you have a disjoint, but good plants will manage to shift around all your stuff. His gimmick is really good too. It basically forces trades and does an absurd amount of damage, and his ledge trapping is better than anyone below him just because of Spiky Ball, dude. Spiky Ball is ridiculous. It's a slow moving, heavy hitting projectile, which is so good. Up smash kills at like 80, like against lightweights, and there's a lot of like mid to lightweights in the game that matter, you know what I mean? Like, so against light to medium weight characters, he can just go for trades and he can go for mad trades, and he can do his little stupid 1-2 combo that he'll mix you with. Then the residual damage for poison as well will get you to kill percent pretty quickly. And if he's playing against another heavy or like a mid heavy, he can just like win neutral once or twice and just patooey at ledge, and he's gonna play that for the rest of the stock. His downsides are obviously that his speed sucks, and a lot of his like actual neutral options that aren't patooey are pretty committal. So it takes a good plan to even bring him all the way up to this point. The character, once again, still sucks. After Plant, this is another one where my opinion's a little skewed because I body these dudes. Honestly, he might be a little higher than I give him credit for, but there's Ridley. Again, he's like, he falls under the predictable category where his good moves are very good, i.e. down tilt, nair, side B is pretty good too. But a lot of these are situational, which makes him pretty predictable. I think the only part that makes him better than the rest of the cast is his up smash. Believe it or not, his up smash is very stupid. It kills pretty early. It covers a lot of the platform. His nair, really good for like what it does. It's probably the best nair in the game. I'm not gonna lie. Even though this character sucks, he probably has the best nair, like hands down. It's very, very stupid. He's also like not as heavy as he should be for a big body, which holds him back a lot because he does get combo fooded. Another character, my opinion, is a little weird on because I'm not too sure about him, is Lucas. He's just he zones out really well, and a lot of his boxing and zoning options, they do a lot of damage with like F tilt doing like I think 12 or 13, which is a little absurd how low committal it is. F tilt's really good. Obviously zoning out with PK fire conditions for getting grabs and cross up nairs. His recovery's pretty good too, as opposed to like Ness's where Ness just explodes. Lucas can usually make it back. Yeah, his overall neutral is just good, but his advantage state is kind of whack, where he can't hold you there for too long. He won't get a crazy amount of damage, so he lacks an explosive factor. Next is the egg pooping loser himself that nobody likes because he's whack. Where'd he go? There you go. Banjo Kazooie. Character is just a camping extraordinaire. He's just a stupid boss battle, and like the counterplay is pretty simple. The only thing is like Wonder Wing is obviously extremely good, but it's still extremely beatable. Characters that have any type of offstage presence can like put this character in his place, And anyone who's good at baiting also knows what's up. The character also has some DLC frame data with like F-tilt, which makes him what I think better than the rest of the cast. Same with like Nair having like an all-around hitbox. That is such a useful tool to have with the way the meta is. Because everything is basically unreactable from multiple different angles. So like Nair that covers your whole body is generally going to be really good. On top of like egg. The way his egg functions, that it pops up, it like inherently is a mini anti-air. It's obviously not a crazy one, but a lot of his tools naturally counterplay like belligerence, so it's hard to get in. But he's one who suffers from getting out of disadvantage. He's not explosive in any way except for like Wonder Wing. But if that's literally all you're banking on is your like frame 600 committal option, then you're not high tier. You know what I mean? All right, next. This one is a little weird. I'd say Conky Dong. And honestly, I remember talking about this on Twitter earlier where I thought for a bit Bayonetta was better than Donkey Kong. And honestly, I still think I put Bayonetta a little bit low for how good she probably actually is. I could see her being like right in between, honestly, these two right here, Incineroar and Villager. But regardless, this is Donkey Kong. He has a big body. He gets schmixed in disadvantage. Like, he gets put in his place. He doesn't have what it takes to get out of disadvantage. His recovery is extremely exploitable, but everything outside of his disadvantage is extremely good. He has large hitboxes that do a lot of damage. Some of them even combo. His grab game is insane, where a game... So, the way I, like, think about Smash Ultimate is, like, in the meta, shielding is extremely important, which also makes counterplay to shield extremely important, where majority of top tiers and like high tiers, their counterplay to shielding is just safe shield pressure. So not even grabbing, just safe shield pressure, because like roll and spot dodge punishes are insane. But Donkey Kong just kind of nullifies that because he has like natural mix-ups with like aerial down B, dash attack, just beating shield sometimes because it crosses up. It's like an RNG cross up. He throws you for a lot of loops, even if it's like unintentional. His neutral is extremely annoying to deal with if you don't have the proper tools. But like once you do win neutral, you should probably be taking the stock. Like if he gets the first hit, his goal is to take the stock, and his ledge trapping is really good. But yeah, that's it. Next on the list, which people are probably surprised I haven't put him here yet, but is Richter. He's obviously very annoying to deal with. A lot of the work, like all of the characters below him, not all of them, a large majority of them have a really hard time dealing with him getting in. Like the matchups that he wins are usually really polarizing. So like that alone puts him right there, because like his archetype is like so, like they just made him a super projectile camper that can also zone with his normals. So if anyone is good at closing the gap or baiting, then like he usually loses, and his offstage sucks, which is why he's not good. He's a really simple character. There's no like real intricacies to talk about with him. My honest opinion of the new character, Min Min, I think she's not that good. I think I talk about it pretty often when I play her. I don't think she's that good. I think like the projectile campers will put her in her place, and the ultra rushdown characters will put her in her place. But everything in between, she usually dominates. Like you can't outzone her because of her options in general. Like the arms are just ridiculous when it comes to counter zoning. But she's like the best zoner versus zoner matchup. But most zoners have like alternative options to deal with getting outzoned. So that's why she doesn't like she doesn't have like natural counterplay for the things she loses to. Like if she's getting projectile camped, like she just has to kind of deal with it and just hope to get in somehow. And if she's getting super rushed down, then like I hope you like go into the ledge every single time you go into disadvantage because you're not landing, you know? Again, not a super deep character, plus she's new. So that is my opinion on her and where she stands. Robin. There you are. You're this bad. He's silly. This character is silly. His neutral is eh. His strengths are eh. But when he has you at ledge, it's really good. And he's hard. He's a hard character to place because he's so like he's deceptively versatile while being just an character because of like frame data and like lack of actual good combos. You know, there's not too much to say. He's super simple. The counterplay is all there. It's just a matter of you doing it. But his options by themselves are really good. And when he does like pull ahead, it's hard to get it back. He's definitely a snowball character. You know what? I'll play Kirby right now. Because, okay, where is he? Initially, I had him here. But upon further thinkies, I don't think he's there. He's another one that I don't have a very good opinion on. Without a super educated opinion, I'd put him right below Bayonetta. He's like, he's just slow. He's stubby. Like, his copy ability is practically useless. His copy ability shouldn't change any of the matchups that he like loses, because if your win condition is in the matchup is to steal the ability, then like you know what they're going for, and then you just have to out-nooch the dude. Like, it's not that hard. There you are, Junior. If you live on the West Coast, you think this character schmixes, but he's got throw combos, and that's mostly what he was missing in the last game. His ability to get damage is actually surprisingly good. He has like natural mix in his gameplay with side B stalls, and like a lot of his aerials have large disjoints and stuff too, so he kind of has the ability to zone, and he has the ability to get combos too. His recovery is a little hard to track, but even then he's surprisingly stubby, despite, you know, having a huge like wrecking ball in front of him. So he can get out. Like, he doesn't do anything exceptionally well except for throw combos against specifically fast rollers usually, but he's not crazy complicated too. It's pretty simple to get around him, but like when he gets going, you know. His Mecha Koopa can get pretty annoying to deal with too if you don't know how to play around it. Next is a character that recently got buffed. I thought that this character was like really bad, like E tier kind of bad at first, but upon further thinkies, I changed my mind, and even he also recently got buffed, which kind of changes my opinion, and the fact that somebody's actually picking him up now changes my opinion. But Corrin, character's got big old sword and every hitbox combos, so it's hard to not get hit by the character. It's weird because he doesn't really get a crazy amount out of throws, but when he has you at ledge, he becomes pretty scary. He like gains the ability to kill you pretty early, and with Chomp as well, he has the ability to kill you early. But if you play optimally and like you don't panic at all, you have to play like a pretty honest game with him, which is kind of where he excels. Like, if he calls out any stupid option that you're doing, like he can kind of end your stock pretty early, but he's still slow, so winning neutral is already hard for him. And his offstage game, it can be pretty rough too, because they nerfed his recovery from game to game. So, you know, it just is what it is. He's not incredibly good, mostly because of his speed and some of the startups that he has. Next is a character who has fallen from grace, but is still randomly good in a lot of spots, is Pichu. Let me explain. You may be just like, hey, why is Pichu this low when Pikachu will obviously be extremely high? Well, first of all, he hurts himself. He's an extreme lightweight. He kind of has to deal with trades. Regardless of how this character wants to win neutral, he's probably going to be forced to trade, which makes him this low on the tier list, in my opinion. However, he does have an extreme explosive factor where he can kill you in like 3 combos, which is why he's all the way up there. He can literally end your stock in like seconds. Like, he still has the dumb factor, which once again puts him that high. His recovery is very, very hard to deal with. It doesn't have a hitbox though, which makes it a little easier. So that's my full thoughts. Toon Link, super basic, just good overall character, but he falls short, like, in multiple situations where like you can get a lot of free damage on him. His disadvantage kind of sucks. His projectiles are all obvious. The counterplay is the exact same from the other game too, where you just hold shield and you watch him do whatever he wants, and then once he's done, you just continue playing neutral and you call him out for doing something stupid, And there you go. Just do it again until he's dead. But obviously he'll get the better out of several of those situations too. But I think he is the worst Link for sure. Another character who got buffed, but a character that still confuses me because I've never really seen anyone good play him, is Mewtwo. However, he has gotten throw combos recently, which makes him a lot scarier. He might honestly be better than this after all is said and done, but I won't change him for the sake of like lack of knowledge. Shadow Ball is still extremely dumb at combos. He's a big body who's a lightweight, so he's the epitome of a glass cannon, which usually is really good. His downsides put him that low, just because he's a big body that's a glass cannon. That's it, really. That's it. Alright, next, a lot of you are probably going to be surprised it took me this long to put him here, but I've played a lot of Duck Hunts. I think he's pretty good. His can is one of the most DLC moves I've ever seen. His neutral is pretty good, but his offstage sucks. It's hard to get him offstage though, because obviously you have to win neutral, which is the hardest part. He's got a lot of zoning and like projectile camp options that make him so hard to get in on that you are definitely going to take damage. Like you will probably Duck Hunt's one of those characters where you go to the the end screen results and you see that you dealt 200 and won the game, and you took like 500, but the character struggles to kill, and that's why he's only this low. Like, he can't go off stage to gimp people. The most he can do is throw stuff at you, and he gets edgeguarded mad hard. I don't believe in Mies, so they won't be on the tier list. Next, this is one where I have a pretty scuffed opinion on because I'm not too sure about him, but is Ryu. He has the ability to just kill you. His combos do a lot of damage, and if he calls out one of your options after a combo, then you're already at kill percent. His Hadouken is mad good because he gets the fireball one that does like multiple hits. So his one projectile is pretty good. It helps with like projectile campers. Specifically, like, well, the only thing that comes to mind immediately is like Olimar. But he's still a scary character. His recovery is very exploitable though. But getting caught by, honestly, he might be lower than what I give him credit for. After that, I think it is, where is he? This bad boy, Hero. A lot of his moves are actually pretty good. And I mean that unironically, and I'm not talking about down B either, where his normals, they do have a little bit of startup, but they're pretty big, which is a pretty good like compensation factor. On top of like, even if you don't want to approach, he has like half charge side B, which obviously goes very far. His fireball, mad good for like what it does. It's good for catching landings, which makes up for his like lack of speed. But regardless, he still does have a lack of speed, which means in situations where you're short on MP, it can get kind of rough. His menu is just kind of like a good addition for his kit. Like his kit by itself is just good at best. It's not amazing. His F tilt just like beating boxing options is really good. But once people get in on him, they can kind of bully him because the best he can do to get at a disadvantage is just double jump and like air dodge to the ground and pray. Because he's a bit of a fast faller, so still. Next is the last character I have for mid-tier. The only opinion I have on this is literally playing this guy right here, DeBuzz. Rose is good. She's got huge hitboxes, but she has good hitboxes. She zones extraordinarily well. She ledge traps very well. But and that puts her at mid-tier. But the things that hold her back from going any higher would be that her recovery is pretty exploitable. And that if you just kill Luma, this character is just, whatever. But, there you go. Like, if you kill Luma, that's the win condition right there. And it's really hard to avoid that win condition as Rosalina. A lot of characters just have belligerent options that they could just throw out and punish you for playing neutral by just killing Luma. Oh wait, this is not the last character in mid-tier. This is the best mid-tier, because I just saw it in chat. It's this bastard. A lot of people think he's trash. And I don't get it. Because he's got good frame data with the amount of knockback that his like attacks do. He's got huge hitboxes. He can zone out a lot of characters. His dash attack is not the best burst option, but he still has one, which is pretty clutch for for counter zoning. And then like he has like low percent combos too, so he can get you to jank percent pretty quickly. and then he just got to play a little bit of nooch, and then it's over for you. The bow, mad good too. It's just a natural mix option. The things that hold him back would be his mobility, obviously, and his dash attack is still committal too. So if he tries to counter zone, he can get called out for it. And his offstage is kind of it's a pretty low chance of getting counter edge guarded by his up B. Oh, and disadvantage is absolutely terrible with this dude. He's got nothing to get out. He just has to pray. He can just go to ledge, and he has a hard time getting off a ledge, which is why he's mid tier. I think the very, very bottom of the A tier is gonna be. I think Wii Fit. So what makes Wii Fit mad good? Strictly deep breathing and the soccer ball and the other projectile, the sun. All extremely good projectiles. They're pretty hard to deal with. The angles they come at make it pretty unpredictable about what they'll do. Deep breathing by itself makes this character, like, if this character was always in deep breathing, they'd be S tier. So this character gets to go up here for like however long the thing is. He also has a low profile, which is mad clutch. A lot of people don't understand that, like, being able to just low profile aerials in neutral is so good. And then, like, combo that with, like, deep breathing, and you can whiff punish, like, mad hard. Character can go off stage. The character doesn't get edge guarded either, and the ledge is practically the dude's home. So the other thing is stopping this dude from being higher is just, like, lack of mix-up. Like, his options are all extremely good, but they're pretty predictable. So if you just find out counterplay, then you can usually do really well against this character. Next character, once again, I'm not super intelligent on. I don't really play it against it enough, so I'll just throw her in there. Samus. I was more convinced to put this character all the way up here, but a lot of people think this dude's really good, and which is fine. Obviously, Samus is pretty good. I don't think she's A tier in my opinion, but everyone else seems to think so, and I've kind of been convinced. Charge shot by itself is ridiculous, and it creates neutral. Like, you could dictate the whole pace of the match and change it at will, which means that, like, momentum should always be in your favor, and the only time that you should really get exploited is for slipping up. And that's just like a good character, you know what I mean? The only thing is, like, again, same with Wii Fit, where you're predictable in what you're doing. Against good players, they can figure out what you're going for pretty quickly. So next is the bad man himself, the Cash Money King, Captain Falcon, everyone's favorite. This character sucks, dude. No, I'm just kidding. Falcon, so I normally, before this patch, I would probably put Falcon down here somewhere. But side B by itself, like, the way it got buffed was so good, because now he actually has a burst option that combos. Because, like, with grab, you can just DI it at, like anything higher than, like, 30 or 20. But now with side B as a punish over grab or, like, nair 1, then it actually makes his character's combos kind of scary. And all of his combos will corner carry as well, which leads for, like, early kills and stuff too, and it leads for potential off stage plays, which is where this character lives. It's like anywhere where he can be explosive makes him, like, really good. But obviously his downsides being that he's still awkwardly stubby with a lot of his hitboxes, which leads to him getting punished kind of often. And his offstage, he gets put in his place offstage, man. A character, once again, I'm not super familiar with, but I do know that the recent buffs changed a lot. It'd be Falco, and Falco is better than Falcon personally. His combos are kind of ridiculous, and not gonna lie, his neutral got a lot more annoying with the side B change. The other thing is recovery is pretty exploitable too, and he can kind of get at a disadvantage just because, like, his hitboxes are kind of scary, and if he gets below you, like, if you miss, like, a juggle, then he can just get below you and start his own combo, which is a really strong thing to have. He can go off stage too, which not a lot of characters have because his jump height is absolutely absurd. So recovering high is almost always off of the table against Falco. So he can, his down air too, if you're forced to go low, down air is just, like, always like, oh, if you're off stage because my combo's corner carry, then, like, you might get spiked. Hope you got good mix. Kind of another shallow character, but, like, his strengths are just very apparent. Bowser, what he does, he's very good at, which is up B out of shield, frame 6 side B, and that's it. Other than that, he's a really well done heavy. Like, It's hard to list his strengths off one by one because like there's so many. He's absurdly heavy, and that's a boon not a lot of people talk about because people are like, oh, he's a heavy, he gets comboed, that makes him bad. He lives for mad long. Even if he gets comboed, he can still recover pretty well. His recovery isn't phenomenal, but like it gets the job done. It gets him to ledge 9 times out of 10, unless the character like outwardly has really good like edge guarding options. But other than that, yeah, he's a heavy who's mad fast too. So like if they play aggro, which normally they won't, it's scary stuff. And he can put on damage so quickly. He has the ability to kill so early. It's kind of hard to counterplay the character because if you don't have the combos, then you have to zone this dude out for so long just to kill him, which makes him very good. But at the end of the day, he still is a big body who does sometimes get edge guarded, but he will be getting comboed. And he does get ledge trapped really hard because his roll is terrible. That's why he's not any better. This one is another one that's really hard to rank because the only person I've played is the Badman Hazmat. But I think I kind of overrated the character, but like considering all of his strengths and like his ability to be extremely unpredictable and like kill you mad early, like he's basically Ryu with like a better neutral. He kills not just as early, but only a little bit later than Ryu. His neutral's better. His recovery is still extremely exploitable, but there still is room for a little bit of mix. Good Kens will put you in the washing machine and that's it. Like it's good for your stock. That's it. You're done. You're not coming out. They start hitting you, they don't stop, man. Good Kens are scary. Like I said, I do probably still think that I am overrating the character a little bit, but I could see his strengths outweighing like Bowser's strengths. I'll throw these two together. You guys can probably guess who it is just because I said there's two. It's the Pits. It's the new Pits. These dudes got kill confirms now, which is scary because like they fall under the category, in my opinion, of one of the most honest characters in the game, but also at the same time not honest because like what they do to outplay you is like, oh okay, I could have done something about that, or like, oh I could have expected that. The not honest part is the oppression, dude. The hitboxes are absurd, like and there's not a lot of end lag on a lot of his aerials either. He's got down tilt up air now, which I think is like a true combo kill confirm. I think Pit is better, which is why he's above. His arrows are better. His side B works from anywhere on the stage. His recovery is not super exploitable. There's a lot of mix with all of his jumps and like the actual speed. I think this is the most honest placement I can get with this character, given my lack of like actual knowledge, is right there. On like the lower end of what I would consider high tier. He's got a very, very good neutral, and his combos can get pretty crazy. And like the character is allowed to fish for his combos because his neutral is so good. His recovery has like very little counterplay. Like you just have to guess an angle and that's it. There's like nothing crazy about the character. Like he doesn't really have a super hard time getting out of disadvantage because he can just double jump and flip around. Honestly, might be better than this if we're gonna be 100% honest. But that's where I put him. The like literal only genuine problem with the character is that he can't kill super early, and that just like is it really. He has to catch you at the edge with like a banana at like 100 if he wants to kill honestly early, aside from like dunks and stuff. But yeah, and monkey flip is like so good in nooch. Next is probably going to be very surprising. You guys have been wondering where this character is, but I think he's very good. Just put all of his character strengths, think about them, compare them to everyone else, and you're like, damn, Mars is right, because I am. Where is it? Link. Yes, I think Link is this good. This is my controversial opinion. I think his Nair is one of the most nonsense moves ever. Like, it is so ridiculously good and large for no reason. On top of being a fast faller, that Nair swang. It goes wherever you want. His projectiles, so good. They combo too. He's a projectile camper that can box out with one move that's basically hard to counter, like really hard to counterplay. Dude has like a frame 6 or 7 grab. This dude is a projectile boxing camper with a frame 6 grab. How can you say this character is not high tier? You know what I mean? It's so good. And he doesn't even get edge guarded because of bomb recoveries. You know what I mean? Like, he'll get gimped at low percents, maybe, like if you catch him slipping. But if the Link is good, it's really hard to like do a crazy amount about. But like you have to do really well against him to even get the upper hand. He has a really easy time killing too. Like F tilt at ledge, up tilt at like 120. Up air lasts mad long if you're trying to just jump around like an idiot. And like boomerang confirms in a forward air at like 90 at ledge. Like he doesn't really struggle when it comes to like the aggressive part of things at all. Luigi kills you in a grab. He kills you in a grab, and he's got kind of ridiculous frame data if you put it on paper, dude. Like his jab's mad fast, his down tilt's mad fast. The only thing that's slow is the grab, but that's the mix-up. Like he's kind of like the case with Donkey Kong, where like he's one of the few characters where grab is the ideal punish for shielding, but it barely ever happens. People don't shield versus Luigi, so he gets away with a lot of like defensive punish damage, and he's just super explosive. His Zair actually adds like a good ledge trapping and edge guarding mechanic, which is crazy because like he's floaty and he's slow and he's Luigi, so why should he be able to edge guard? I think if it wasn't for the 80% grab combos, he would not be better than Link. A little bit rough on the opinions. I wish I had a better opinion on it. But from what I know, I think Ness is this high up. His neutral go crazy. His damage output, a little crazy. His PK fire combos and like his ability to kill early is like really annoying. Trying to like zone this dude, you can pretty easily get whiff punished with like side B dash attack or whatever, or like if they're good at parrying, they'll be able to get in pretty easily. So zoning is kind of difficult versus this character. His recovery is weird because like again on paper it's bad, but that air dodge goes so goddamn far, you know, like he can just mix up his timings really well. So his recovery would still be his weak point, but still, all of his moves send horizontal too, so he can put you in the corner and get early kills so often. He can go for trades against like characters that can outbox him, so he's never really falling behind on a lot of like damage. He can net stocks pretty early. Next up on the list, this one's gonna be a little crazy for a lot of people, but I've seen what the character is capable of. Sheik. I think Sheik is better than a lot of these characters simply because frame data. That's all you need, baby. That's frame data. Frame data puts all these characters down here in their place, and some of the characters that are going to be up here. The only problem with Sheik is trades, but if you properly whiff punish and like do your combos correctly, then it can be pretty easily avoided. But this, she has the ability to out neutral a lot of the cast. Like, and that's not something to like wince at either, because like her ledge trapping is good, like because of her lingering hitboxes and stuff, but you need to mess up basically in order to like lose neutral. But the only reason she isn't higher is because like you lose neutral like a handful of times, you're a lightweight, and like if you accidentally trade a couple times, again you're a lightweight, so you'll be at kill percent pretty early. But even if she struggles to kill, like she can just keep doing her game plan until you're at like 110, 120, and then start fishing for kills, which is like a whole nother ballpark. Like the whole game stops at, like the whole game like starts again after that because the mix-ups change. This one, another one I wish I had a better opinion on, but I have always thought highly of the character. Terry. This character got damage. This character jab, go dummy. He gets free damage. He got no end lag, man. He could kill super early. His neutral is like really hard to deal with. He's got a lingering hitbox with his nair that combos into whatever. His only downside would be his recovery, and not every character can get the better of his recovery, because going off stage versus a good Terry can be kind of scary. Terry's scary. You see what I did there? Again, I wish I had a better, more educated opinion on him, but that's just what I think of where he is. I think he's better than all these characters simply because his strengths are like impeccable. Seeing him at his peak is really scary. So Cloud, similar in the way that his neutral is extremely good, but he gets a lot more damage per interaction than most characters because his combos are crazy and they like lead to corner carries. Downsides, he can get gimped, obviously. That'll just happen. Limits, whatever. Limit, the best part about Limit is obviously the movement speed buffs and it becomes a faster faller. So, like, pressuring becomes a lot easier and then you can kill early. Yeah, that's it. Next character, the bad boy we all used to play. I used to play Ike-Poo. So a lot of people think that Ike is a lot better after this buff, after this patch. No, I think he's the exact same, dude. I think that the patch was a scam. I think his up B changes don't matter, if I'm going to be 100,000% honest. A lot of the common counterplay for beating Ike is to just like stop him from jumping or parrying. But a good Ike will just straight up play around that, you know? And I think if you don't actually try to genuinely outplay this character, then you're going to lose. So you have to identify each situation where like the Ike is going to do something for sure, because a lot of his decisions have to be pre-made because of the startup and stuff and actually wanting to do damage in interactions. His neutral's pretty good and his advantage state is pretty good. He's overall a pretty good character. If you take all of his aspects and put them in any type of scope, he's pretty good. Like, that's it. Pretty good recovery, pretty good damage output, pretty good kill ability, pretty good getting out of disadvantage, pretty good out of shield. That's it. Greninja. He is the epitome of rock, paper, scissors, but it's in his favor every time. Usually, unless you hard call out something. But to start off, this character is majority neutral. Majority neutral, and then the best part about him is his combo game and punish game. He's the best whiff punisher probably in the game. Next to like Joker, probably. But the rock, paper, scissors I'm talking about is like, is he going to whiff punish with dash attack? Is he going to forward air to zone me? Or is he going to grab for shielding, try to shield both of those? The only thing that holds him back is like, that is it. The character has no depth outside of that. Like, the game plan is extremely straightforward, but it is really good. The counterplay is just really difficult, and a lot of characters just don't have the counterplay in their kit. If you look at a lot of these low tiers, you think, what the hell does he do against Greninja? How does he stop whiff punishing and like grabbing? And you know what I mean? Alright, this next one, the character could probably afford to be a little bit higher. I think the character is very good. And he's one of the characters I think almost has it all. Olimar. This is when we start getting to objectively very good characters. He has options. He's very good. He's got combos up the wazoo. He's got grab combos. He's got smash attack combos. He's got the zoning he needs. He's got his downsides would be that his recovery can be pretty exploitable, but he doesn't really trade with much, and he's got the benefits of being small. Other than that, the character doesn't really have crazy downsides. This is where characters just start objectively becoming very, very good. This is a fan favorite character. Game & Watch. Don't worry, we're almost in S tier, boys. This character is not as good as people make it out to be. He struggles in a lot of situations that people don't really give him credit for. Anything to do with a sword in a disjoint, this character sweats. Anything else, he's really good against. Like, he does not get projectile camped. He has a reflector. And he's got bucket. And he's got really, really, really good out of shield with his FB. So, you know, if you don't have to deal with that, aka zoners, then he becomes pretty invalidated. And a lot of the top tiers and characters that are higher than him have the option to zone. Another character I wish I had a little bit more experience in, Sonic. I think people overrate Sonic a lot. I do think he's very good, but I think the counterplay just needs to be developed a little more. Obviously, lame Sonic is what we're talking about here because that is the best Sonic. I think people don't realize their counterplay to the character. They overrate him, and it doesn't matter what character you're playing against Sonic. You just have to do it a specific way. You just have to counterplay the character and the player to some degree. Like, he's just very annoying. His neutral is very good and his mix is mad good. His offstage, very good. Getting out of it at a disadvantage, very good. Another one of my characters, Schmagmaman. Still a very good character, even though I think before the nerfs, this character was in S tier. Because lemons and leaf shield, but he's another one where his neutral is just really, really good. I think it's almost on par with Sheik, but it's a little bit worse. And like he has like worse Sheik neutral, but then has the ability to actually kill with several moves. And his recovery is a little worse, but his damage output's higher. He's good. Like, that's it. He's got lemons. He's got nooch. He's got kill options. I will throw it in Yoshi. Yoshi's damage is stupid. His damage is stupid. His forward air is dumb. He's got a lot of good options to force you to do dumb stuff. He gets at a disadvantage simply by touching the nair button or jump button. So his disadvantage is just eh. His recovery is pretty good. A lot of characters either can't contest his double jump or just lose to the heavy part, like the heavy armor. He has a lot of combos that like can lead into like 50 to 60 damage. And then he has a pretty easy time killing because his up smash is huge, kills pretty early, and then his back air kills. Like, he can stay pretty safe while fishing for kills. The only thing this character doesn't have is grab stuff, but his shield pressure is so good he doesn't have to worry about grab stuff. I think this is 18th in the game. It's Chrom. He's got very similar strengths to Roy. And I honestly think that his neutral is really good. His damage output is really good. It's hard to get the better out of a situation because of his frame data so good. Even if he whiffs, or even if he like hits shield, like his frame data will usually save him. And his up out of shield is actually absurd. So the only thing this character loses with is the eventual neutral loss. He might get gimped, and that's it. That's the only reason he's not better. He might just get gimped. And like he doesn't really struggle versus like size either, which is really useful for him. What I think is number 17 in the game is, this is probably going to come as a surprise to a lot of people, is Fox. I think Fox is heavily overrated. Small hitboxes, but his damage output is really good, so that leaves room for trading. And usually when it comes to trading with Fox, he's usually in advantage neutral wise. Like, if you trade at low percents, he's gonna hit the ground first every single time, but and he has the speed to usually follow up even if you trade. But a lot of people take that advantage, like they don't realize that that is a situation that happens, so they just like start mashing again and they get punished again. I noticed that a lot with top players, is they just get punished for doing dumb autopilot stuff. His damage output is insane, which is useful, but a lot of his combos are just like situational, and they only lead to damage, and like oftentimes more than not, like they lead to stage control too, but in order for him to actually do anything with the damage he's done, he needs an up smash, which is very committal. And Nair rarely ever combos into up smash. It's usually a tech situation, which is barely reactable, mind you. You have to be like on the money with it. And back air is just like not a real kill option. Other than that, like the other smash attacks are still committal and stuff. Even though they're fast, they have end lag. So he's not even like a... He's not amazing, and he's a lightweight too, and he could just die at any second. His neutral is really hard to deal with. That's the best part about him, is his really good neutral, his long-lasting nair, his ledge trapping is mad good, but his offstage is really bad. He can get out of disadvantage pretty easily with shine or like nair or just fastfall air dodge. He's similar to Falcon in that regard, where like if he air dodges below you, then like you could be in a world of hurt. 16, I think it's 16. I think it's Pac-Man. His projectile camping is ridiculous. The items do everything for him. The hydrant, it holds down the neutral. Oh, you want to jump over it? Nope. Get put in your place. I'm going to charge. You don't want to jump over it? Alright. I got a fruit. You're going to take 60. Hold that. Like, He has fruit for every single situation, so he'll always have an item for whatever's going on, which is really rough to fight against. The only thing that like kind of holds him back, he's kind of predictable, where although a lot of his moves don't have a lot of end lag, he usually commits to something in order to like gain something. It's obvious as that sounds, but like I'll put you in a hypothetical where like if Pac-Man is at the edge, he needs stage control to safely charge fruit. So usually he's gonna come back on aggressively, like in some fashion or way, to either get you off of him, or he's gonna like roll and like run to the other side of the stage. Like he's always gonna try and put distance between the two of you, which makes him kind of predictable in that sense. And if you can't create a gap after losing neutral, then it starts to snowball and you start to lose. And that's the only downside for Pac-Man. But other than that, like, his recovery's mad good, his neutral's mad good, like getting out of disadvantage is easy, his combos are absurd. I think that's the best way to sum him up. Inkling, I think Inkling is obviously very good. I do not think she is better than a lot of the characters that will be put above her. Her disjoints are obviously insane and her damage output is crazy, but like the conditions for her to get the kill are so obvious that they're so easily avoidable. So you can just play for longevity and you usually win that kind of situation. Like you need to whiff punish, you need to parry, and if you don't immediately take advantage of those situations, then you usually need to disengage, which is fine. And like, you know, as neutral interactions like happen more and more, they run out of ink more and more, and like once that's out, the options start to get limited and you can just kind of take advantage of it. Like you basically you download the player before you even get a chance to lose if you're good. Mario, I would believe, is next. So Mario's literal only problem is that he's stubby. That's it. That's the only problem this character has. And his combos are absurd. He can like literally explode you at 30. Like it's ridiculous what he's capable of in terms of combos. He doesn't have the ability to zone, but his zone breaking game is crazy because once he does get in, like it's rapid. Like he gets he schmixes everybody. And even if you do feel the need to like try to out aggro him, he has up out of shield, which is so good. Like, you know, he has defensive options on top of being an extremely good like burst character. His recovery is not very exploitable. You have to have like a kit that is well designed to deal with it. What's crazy is that he's stubby, which means you would think he's more prone to trades, but usually he just doesn't trade. He just kind of beats out options sometimes, which is really weird. R.O.B. He's not, I don't think he's broken. I think a lot of people don't understand the counterplay to his options and start losing. Like, I think when people fight R.O.B, they just forget like what is going on. Like they forget that people are going to predetermined use their good options. They're not trying to counterplay what you're doing. They're just doing whatever they want. But R.O.B gets so overly rewarded for winning neutral that like he becomes this good. He becomes top of A tier. And like his projectile game is also like really good. Although you can use his projectiles against him the hardest out of most characters, but it doesn't matter. Like his ability to kill early is really good, and his disadvantage sucks. That's the worst part about him, and being a big body gets him comboed. Now we're going to be getting into the S tiers. These are the best of the best. I think after this, there's a clear gap in character viability. First character I think is the worst best character is Snake. Everyone knows what's good about Snake. You know what I mean? Like he can box, while zone, while projectile camp, while like break zones. He's got it all. But that's his problem, is that he has it all. And it's very easy to get like lost into a rhythm because it's so hard to like consciously think about what you're doing while the other person is doing, because there's a lot to think about when you play him. A lot of people think he's super simple. Oh, I press B and throw grenade, I won. Like, no. The hard part about him is getting gimped, obviously, and like the few bad matchups where he just gets bullied and disadvantaged. His disadvantage presents a lot of 50-50s. That's really good, because most characters can't even do anything, or they're forced to choose their good option, whereas he can force 50-50s instead of just wasting resources. This is the number 10 character in the game. Is Lucina. The character basically has no flaws. I think the only time this character loses is because they got called out. The only time they lose a neutral interaction is because they were whiff punished, or because they were parried, or because they were called out for trying to grab. The only time this character goes into disadvantage is of their own mistake, which doesn't happen all that often, because the room for error is so small with Lucina, because the room for counterplay is like so difficult to execute. They can just swing around in neutral, and then when you approach, they kind of just have to like, they can choose their go-to option, which is already really hard to counterplay, or they can just directly counter. Like if you ran in and shield, they can just grab, and there's like little to no like mix in that, and you don't even get a hard punish even if you do manage to whiff Lucina. Most of the times Lucina loses because they get hit and disadvantaged too often, because they get greedy. They think they have to down air, they think they have to counter, they think they have to up B, and they end up taking more damage than they actually have to, when realistically they can minimize damage by simply going to ledge, or just not being stupid. Like, as simple as it sounds. Number 9 now will be a character that I think is absolutely ridiculous, and honestly, I saw people in the chat talking about it, so I will mention that I think this is one of the easiest characters to pick up, is Pokemon Trainer. The character embodies, it's going to sound very negative, but it embodies everything that is wrong with the game. And it does so in a very powerful way that makes him S tier. So what I mean by that is, like, Squirtle, for example, one of the problems with Ultimate is like, it's too fast, it's unreactable, and people are over rewarded for playing belligerent. For some cases, obviously. Squirtle is all of that. On top of being extremely small, this character is absurd. He gets all that damage. He gets the combos. He's extremely good. Ivysaur is the prime example of the hitbox size to lag ratio is just not there. Like, back air, that move is DLC. Down air, that move is DLC. Grab combos that kill it like 80? Why is that a thing? You know what I mean? The nair that is full body, that is so important. I talked about that before. It's so important because, like, in a meta where shield counterplay is so relevant, a nair that has a hitbox all around it just almost beats shield pressure every single time. And then Charizard is just like, play stupid until you get what you want. Like, he kills you mad early. He's a heavy with like a frame whatever out of shield option that's fast and kills at like 150, like 110, 120. Oh my god, I did forget Young Link. I forgot about Young Link. I'm reading Twitch chat right now. I forgot. I put Young Link over here. So I delayed where I was going to put him, and I just completely forgot to put him there. Honestly, Young Link might be better than this. So he, to quickly wrap up, because I want to continue with S tier, he is so good. He has Mario boxing frame data with, like, the ability to projectile camp right behind it, on top of, like, up B out of shield. Like, he's so good. He's ridiculous. He doesn't really get gimped, although his recovery is somewhat exploitable. He's absolutely ridiculous. Fire Arrow is dumb. Okay, next on the list for the S tier is Roy. Roy is like, he can get away with so much. Because you have to respect so many of his options at the same time that counterplaying him becomes like a mess, and you end up playing right into his hands that way because he has so many options. With like up air, shield, like grab, side B, like nair, like down tilt, like no matter what the situation is, he always seems to have an option for it. And like his sour spots just combo sometimes, or they set up into something bigger. So like his sour spots are in no way a hindrance, and they just present bigger opportunities to him. And like I said, he can just delete your stocks very early because a lot of his combos will corner carry and a lot of his pressure will put you in the corner. So he nets stocks extremely early that way. This is the number 7 character in the game, is Wolf. His whole kit is like a built-in mix-up. And he's so overly rewarded for when he successfully gets a mix-up. So what I mean is the two things you fear from Wolf: forward air, because it sets up for combos, and grab, because you want to shield forward air. Like, you're so busy trying to counterplay both of those things, because grab and forward air, they all set up into like a lot of damage, a lot of early kills with putting you off stage and stuff. It's really bad, like, to go against, obviously. And then on top of it all, even if you're trying to like zone out both of those options, his dash attack functions as a zone breaker, and if he doesn't want to commit, he can just shoot his transcendent 10 damage laser. That is insane. Like, and it's a huge hitbox too, and if you try to zone break at the time that he shoots, there's a blade on it for some reason. His whole kit is like inherent mix-ups that all reward him so much. His only like the only arguable downside would be his like recovery, but you're rarely ever gonna give him a good Wolf. This is where the top tiers get a little jumbled up. I think the next 3 characters are really hard to put in order, but I'm gonna throw my opinion out there. Next, I think, is Peach. I think Peach is the number 5 character in the game. Her damage output is obviously insane, but she randomly has matchups where she has to work like really hard at. Some of the low tiers do extremely well against her. Not in a manner that they would beat her, but it's like, for a character to be this good against top tiers, but also not nearly as good against like mid tiers, it's really obscure. That's why I wouldn't put her any higher than what this is like those mid tier matchups are like, what the hell, like, you know what I mean? If you think about Peach versus like a Swordy, what does Peach have over that besides vertical mobility, which is usually covered by hitboxes? So like, a lot of the counterplay becomes very apparent, and I think a lot of player skill comes down to like actually being able to win these matchups, which is why obviously Sam Sora is so ridiculously good. Hi, Sam. She does good against a lot of the top tiers, but they all still have similar options that like the mid tiers have, that they don't try to like overuse, I suppose. Like, if you think about like Wolf or like Snake, they all have like similar options to like the mid tiers. Not to like the same degree, because you know the mid tiers are usually gimmicks, but it's hard for her to like deal with a lot. But she still can, which is why she's that high up. And you know, she doesn't really get edge guarded. You have to have a very like special kit in order to go off stage versus Peach, but even then she can still fight back, man. She can swing. And turnips are on a whole different level of busted, which is why she's another reason why she's so high up. Turnips are so good, man. They do so much damage on top of like just being a projectile you can have, and projectiles are so good. Palutena very good. It's sad that she's good, in my opinion, because like she's so simple, and like I'm not saying that like she's simple to like pick up and learn, because like it obviously takes like a special person to become like extraordinarily good with her, and she like doesn't really reward like being like fancy or unique in any way. So all of her options are just very good, extremely hard to deal with, and like again over rewarded for like the little bit of like what she has to do, because like Nair is one of those like play the game for you Nairs, which sucks. I hate those kind of Nairs where like it shuts down a lot of like what people want to do, and if you're not nairing, then you're back airing, and if you're not back airing, then like you're grabbing, and everything leads into something, you know what I mean? It's another one of those characters where the mix-ups just happen for you, and you don't have like, obviously you have to think, but there are clear multiple solutions to multiple problems that can be presented to Palutena, and the only thing that she struggles with is size, like character size. But that if that's the worst of your problems, then you're a very good character, because she still has options for the small characters, but that's where she struggles the most. I could go into like a lot of specifics with Palutena, with obviously like ledge play is super easy, like getting at a disadvantage is super easy because of like teleport cancels and fastball air dodge. Just go to the ledge and then nair off a ledge. Like she has a lot. And then on top of it all, on top of the extremely good normals that she has, they just threw on projectiles. Why'd you do that? Why'd you give her more projectiles, man? She doesn't need that. This next character, I had him lower initially, but I reconsidered where I wanted to put him, is Wario. This character is absurd. This character is super crazy. He... Everything I'm going to say will eventually tie into the fact that he is rewarded for not interacting with you. So, the initial... I want to talk about a problem with him first, is that I think it's more of a flaw with character design than anything else. His problem is that he's stubby. So naturally, he'll trade with people more, and people will try to opt for whiff punishes, but whiff punishing is inherently defensive, which means that you're not really going to commit until your opponent commits. Wario doesn't have to commit. He gets rewarded for not interacting. And then, as I said, like, even if he does and he eventually trades with somebody, because he has a lot of hitboxes, although he's stubby, that like they will just trade for some reason. And like even if he trades, he's heavy. He's still gonna get a lot off of that stock, regardless if he's committing to multiple trades or not. And he's gonna garner waft like between every interaction, every like non-interaction, and like his defensive play is so good, and it like even if you do commit to like trying to play aggressive and you slip up once, you get comboed, you take like 50 minimum, you know what I mean? Like nair combos, up air strings, and then you're then put in a juggle situation against Wario where he can either play the safe route, maintain center stage, throw it up tilt like back air on plats, or he can like hard commit and put you off stage, which like both options are gonna further give him waft. I'd probably just start talking in circles at this point, but waft being an optional combo route is like one of the most silly things I think ever. I don't know how they would even change waft to make it more balanced, but still, like he's ridiculous, man. Waft being an optional combo route and encouraging not interacting so they can get more waft is, I think, bad game design. Bad character design, rather. Shulk is the next character anyway. He cheats. This character, he takes the laws of the game and he just, that's it. Like he breaks Smash. The fundamental laws of Smash do not apply to this character. And you know what is absolutely insane is that he's still not even the best character. Think about that. A character that doesn't follow the natural laws of the meta, of character design, is still not the best, which really speaks to the next two characters. But I could go into specifics with like shield art, speed art, like his arts are insane, and like he can break disadvantage by just deciding to. And he can do it multiple times too, because like if your combo is situational, he can just take more knockback by switching into Smash in the middle of like a combo starter, and that's it. And then whatever, you know, and he's got big old hitboxes on top of it. You know what I mean? He's got big old hitboxes, and they usually combo. And if they don't, it's fine. It don't matter. It don't matter if it doesn't combo. He can just do it again. He can do whatever he wants. He's Shulk. The only character that like definitely beats him is apparently Snake. I'm sure there's more character with Palutena as well, I suppose. But that's a bit. That's it. That's all. I could talk about Shulk all day if I really wanted to. All right, next. So this one's number 2. Even though this one, ooh, I'm feeling some type of way. But no, Pika's number 2. I think that Pikachu, they are very close. I do think that they're extremely close, and I will go into strengths individually about why I think that one is better than the other. So you think about Pikachu. He's small. He's hard to hit. Naturally, he's a whiff punishing character. So that further enhances that strength. With like he can whiff punish with like up B. He can do it with grab, which leads into even more combos. Which, remember what I said before, where grab is like the less likely option for beating shield. Although he has safe shield pressure that also lead into combos. The fact that his shield pressure also leads into combos is so good with Nair. And then grab leading into like a lot of combos. He can do the damage once he actually gets in. He can play advantage state so hard. He can kill you off of any advantage. If played right, he can gimp almost any character in the game or just straight up kill him. Like, the character goes absolutely dummy. Like, the only saving grace is that, like, he's small, which means he's a lightweight, but so you think about that. You think that he's small and then he's a lightweight, and you're like, oh, he's light, so he's gonna die earlier. So you naturally, as a good player, not you guys, you go for more trades because you think that like you're just gonna like rack up percent at the same time. He's gonna die earlier, so you naturally go for more trades. The Pikachu players aren't stupid. They know what's going on. They're gonna parry you and they're gonna kill you for it, and they're gonna whiff punish you and they're gonna kill you for it. And like the character, it's obviously hard to play. Like, you can't just pick up and do a 0 to death. Like, you have to learn unique situations, which is why I think that people who study the game and study the meta and study combos, like, those are the people that are going to be extremely good with Pikachu, because they'll recognize situations and understand options and option select. But like, it's still crazy that like it takes so few interactions for a lightweight combo heavy character to like to just kill you. Like, it's crazy. It's not even glass cannon at that point. ECM's gonna kill you. He thinks that the Pikachu's number one. But more pros don't use Pikachu because, like I said, you have to. A lot of people don't work for how good they are. They don't study. They just play the game and get better naturally. But you need to actually be game smart to be able to play Pikachu at a competent level and a top level even more so, which I think a lot of people don't understand. And we all know who's next. That's right, the best character in the game. Psych. Kidding. Sick prank. It's Joker. We all know. We've been new. It's Joker. So, imagine you take Pikachu, you flatten him a little bit more, and maybe even make him a little skinnier, and somehow you got Joker, right? So, Joker's combos are absurd. He's another character who has the Nair that plays the game for you. It does shield pressure, and it combos all at the same time. That alone is insane. Having a Nair that does all three of those things is stupid. And, in my opinion, bad game design. So, what do? In response, you don't shield. You whiff punish. Okay, you're out of shield now. And what does Joker have for that? He's got side B, and he's got gun. All pester damage, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not like he's getting the better of the situation, but he's not like winning neutral. You know what I mean? He's not getting a huge advantage out of it, but like you're taking residual damage now that you're not committing to shield. So that's just like only two of his options too. And like, if you actually do decide to try to close the gap, first of all, like I said, his Nair is just going to do the thing where it plays the game for him. And if you try to come down with a combo starter that's usually aerials, he could down tilt. It'll go right under. He's the counter meta, is what I would consider Joker. Is like, he has options for everything that's really, really good. And then on top of it, like, even if you slip up in any way as the Joker player, you get Arsene, you know what I mean? And it's already really hard to hit Joker. It's it's physically difficult to hit Joker. His hurt box is so skinny, and it shifts around so much, and his animations just move his hurt boxes all around. So it's already hard to get a beat on him. It's already physically difficult to hit him. But then once he gets Arsene, not only is it hard to hit him, it's scary to hit him. Because if you whiff, this dude got whiff punishes for days. His dash attack is nonsense. His grab combos are ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, he can... He makes playing neutral scary where it's already difficult. And if you just refuse to play neutral with him and you try to, like, whiff punish, like I said earlier, then you're just going to get hit with, like, his side B and his neutral B. And then you're just eventually going to lose. And, like... listen... refer to, like, you can put everything I'm saying into practice. If, like, you could try to visualize it. If you watch Samsora versus Leo at Genesis in Winners, and then watch the loser set, because the winner set, Leo just wants to play the way he wants to play. He was a little stubborn and he kind of threw that set, but then he played the meta and the game, and he washed Sam. And that's what peak Joker kind of looks like, is where he just knows the options that are good. And he's like, oh, you want to camp? Nope, not going to happen. Oh, you want to approach? Nope, not going to happen. I have options for everything that you want to do. Now the big one. Now the one that everyone wants to see, huh? My own opinion, huh? On Zero Suit Samus. This one is this one's scary, man. I'm not gonna lie. I fluctuate a lot on what I think about this character. Some days I truly, this is now my honest opinion coming out. I truly think that sometimes she's like here, which is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sometimes I think she's top 10. I'm not gonna lie. At her, like, when everything is going right, she's top 10. When everything is going bad, she's like here. And, like, it's hard. Playing ZSS is one of the hardest things, because, like, her strengths are so, like, I don't know. They're very iffy. But I think at the end of the day, I don't think she's S tier. I do think she is... she could be. I'm over here fighting with myself because I don't know how good the character is. Because there's, like... this is where the clear gap is. And I don't think in any way that ZSS is extraordinarily good. Because if you think about it, her combos do not compare with these characters. Her neutral does not compare with these characters. But her ability to camp, like the best camper in the game... I'm sorry, this guy's the best camper in the game. Just, like, doesn't outweigh the fact that everything else is the way it is. Think about ZSS. Her best thing is running away and throwing hitboxes at you. So what do? You shield. You like any intelligent person, you shield. What do? I grab you. I got 11 damage. Alright. That's it. I got 11 damage. Let's do the interaction again. Alright. I grabbed you again. Okay. You took another 11. Okay. Now let's do that interaction again. I whiffed the grab this time because you fucking saw it coming. Because it's the counterplay. And now you get your combo starter. You could be characters down here and you'll get like 50 off your combo starter. So now you've lapped me in damage. In fact, you've multiplied my damage. So now I'm like, okay, well, let's don't grab. Let's use our safe shield pressure because Nair is extremely good. It is one of her best moves. Probably like her best move. You usually cannot punish it even on parry with Nair. So naturally ZSS is now going to opt for shield pressure and not grab. Only mixing grabs when necessary. I'm already fighting to win interactions where I'm not doing a whole lot of damage. Well, like, the biggest combo I can get is like 35. And remember, like I said, these characters are doing like 50 without even thinking twice. These characters are insane. And like, she can't keep up with a lot of the damage. And a lot of these characters also have contesting hitboxes. Like that can like come down and trade with me while I'm trying to juggle and get my damage, because I'm trying to maximize the amount of damage that I'm dealing, and I'm just trading now, which it's hard not to do. It's not like I'm openly trying to trade. It's really hard to space these things. So now I'm taking damage on top of the combo damage I'm taking, and suddenly I'm at kill percent. Well, as one of the most defensive characters in the game, I have to put myself in the corner as a lightweight, which sucks, which means I'm gonna die mad early. Because that's like one of her best spots is fighting out of the corner, because she's kind of explosive, but explosive in her burst options, not her damage output. You know what I mean? So, yeah. All of her mileage comes from mistakes. If you think about, like, the early stocks that I get should not happen. Like, if you are not playing center stage against Zero Suit Samus, then what are you doing? Like, why are you voluntarily putting yourself in the corner where I can literally kill you at 40? You are not thinking. Or you were trying to bait me, in which you probably still lost. Like, the counterplay is so apparent, and people just openly don't do it. And that's why people think ZSS is so good. Like, I'm not saying she isn't good. Obviously, she's this high on the tier list. But, like, she could still invalidate a lot of characters. Like, the stubby characters, she doesn't care about any of that stuff. Like, if you're slow, she doesn't care. She's going to put you in your place. She's going to outrun you. She's going to whittle you down. But you still have a chance to call out any of my options, because whether I like it or not, we're going to have a lot of neutral interactions. And, like, if you also have to take into account, like, human stuff. Like, I'm going to take damage. I'm going to slip up. You're going to call out one of my options, and you're going to hit me. Even, it doesn't matter if you're any of these characters. Like, I'm going to whiff a grab against Incineroar, and this dude's going to, like, grab, down, throw, back air. I'm at, what, like 25, 30? That's fine. But that's why he's a low tier, because he can't keep up. But I still took damage. You know what I mean? It's hard to, like, coherently say why I think she's not S tier, but I'm just throwing facts out right now. Same with like boost kick killing that early, only on the ledge, dude. I'm only killing you at like 70, 80, like if you got downbeat in the corner. Like, that's your fault, you know? You slipped up, you put yourself in the corner like an idiot. Because you didn't want to play center stage, you wanted to play aggressive, and you got sick of me like chilling in the corner. Everyone has options for me chilling in the corner. They got projectiles, they got whatever they want, man. They got their large disjoints. They can just parry. Like, I don't know, man. I think she has some DLC moves, but they're all situational. Think about a situation where I'm gonna flip kick. And now think about what I'm gonna do if I don't flip kick. It's probably nothing. If you think real long and hard about it, if I'm going off stage, the only thing I can do aside from flip kick is not flip kick. So if you just cover my best option, I can't punish you for it. Like, people just overvalue these moves and think it's broken, but they don't think about just day one basic counterplay. And they commit to playing more neutral with me, which I don't mind. I have to have a really good neutral. If I'm gonna make it past round 5 in these tournaments, round 4 in these tournaments, I have to have a really good neutral. So trust me, every single time somebody disengages with me after being in advantage state, thank you. Thank you so much. You gave the character with one of the best neutrals in the game a chance to play neutral. Why did you do that? These people don't think. I don't know. I could go on this rant for a very long time, but I think that was the best note to end it on, is that people just give ZSS too much. I think that's it. Everyone thinks she's broken. They think this. They think this. Remember what I said? Remember what I said about this character who transcends meta and option select and, like, character ability? And they think she's better than that. How? How can you think she's better than that? How can you think this dude kills you at 2? How do you think she's better than that? This dude that out-neutrals basically everyone, followed by a comeback factor. He makes you scared to play the game. What do? ZSS be like, don't go in the corner, I'll kill you. Everyone in the PGR is like, I'm gonna go in the corner. And suddenly I'm number 5 on the PGR.